Welcome back, guys. Today we
Hey.
have an interesting topic. Me and Karthik. This is actually all Karthik's idea, so I'm really glad he got this up. And this is the perfect weekend to talk about this because weekend of the 4th of September, the WSL kicks off. I believe we already had a few rounds of fixtures on Friday the 3rd, and then on the 4th, we're going to have a few more matches coming in. One of which that we are personally more interested in is the Arsenal women's versus the
That's
Chelsea
Sunday.
women's. That's
That's
Sunday.
on
Oh,
Sunday.
sorry, that's Sunday.
Yeah.
And Chelsea, I believe, were last year's champions, and Arsenal finished
Yep.
third. So yeah, I mean, one place where we are definitely nailed on in the top four, and we have a good chance of winning the league. So that was one of the reasons for me, at least, that we decided to talk about this because the men's side is being pretty blah. But Karthik, yes. So what made you want to talk about women's football?
Oh, I mean, so let's give out some hot of the topic news. Arsenal signed Tobin Heath, one of US women's biggest stars,
That
and
was announced today, right?
yeah, it was announced today. Today, yesterday, depends. And the other thing is her announcement actually crashed the website. Actually, crashed the Arsenal website. Um,
Wow.
I think even the cart is
Empty now.
they're having issues right now with Arsenal Direct. And somebody even pointed out on Twitter that they actually had a masterstroke wherein they announced that okay, we've signed Tobin Heath, World Cup winner, big player from the United States. And they also mentioned, yeah, okay, her shirt is also live on the website in the same post. So it's smart marketing from Arsenal to push that and get it out to the US market, which is slowly getting itself involved into football.
So it's not just Ronaldo
US
and
women
Messi then.
especially is a bigger thing than the US men's team because they recently won the World Cup too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they still have some issues that they're gonna face, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. I wanted to keep
Mhm.
that topic for a little bit later in our discussion today. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal women's team, fabulous set of individuals in there, like some really good athletes. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna claim to be like an expert because literally you're the one who's gotten me interested in it, and now I feel like following it a little bit more. But last season for the UEFA Player of the Season awards, Barcelona had a clean sweep. So the Barcelona women's team, Barcelona Femini, as I believe they call them, they
Yep.
won all awards. They won the Player of the Tournament. They won the Player of the Year award. They got the midfielder, attacker, and defender. Also the Manager of the Year. So yeah, the names. Alexia Putella is the central midfielder who got both the midfielder of the year as well as the player of
And
the
the
year award,
players, yeah.
which makes sense because if you are the best player on the pitch, then technically you're also the best player in your position. So kind of cues out to like how Conte wins the midfielder if Jorginho is getting the player of the year. But that's amazing news for Barcelona on the women's side of things. And I mean, the manager has since stepped down, and they have a new manager coming in the old manager's place who won the Manager of the Year award. That was, I believe, Luis Cortez, the manager who stepped down, and the new manager Jonathan Giraldez is going to be in his place. But yeah, exciting news for Barcelona women's. But you believe another striker should have probably won the forward of the season.
True, sorry. I mean, if there's anyone who's hot on the scoring charts, it has to be Vivian Miedema. I mean, you can just put the ball to her and she'll convert. She knows to do that exactly very well. Her record speaks for itself. I mean, she scored 96 odd goals in 104, 106 odd appearances for Arsenal. That's not even men's team strikers have that record. Not that I'm comparing men with women. Hey, please, I apologize. This is not anything sexist. This is just a direct comparison. And to look at the record that someone like that has, and she's still overlooked, maybe or rather people don't know much about women's football in general, that they don't even hype up a player, which they actually should be doing, at least with Miedema. I'm waiting for Arsenal to announce her contract extension. That is something that I've been looking forward to for quite a while right now, and
Yeah,
it
I
just
mean,
gives me anxiety.
I think they will do well. I think they got a new goalkeeper in this season as well, and she's also supposed to be a really, really exciting prospect. So I mean, that's one side of the club that's really making all the right decisions. Lots of youth in there as well. Like these like a lot of those players are like young up and coming players. Please let us know whether you like this kind of content. I mean, we're gonna try and post updates on women's football irrespective, but I mean, we'd really like to know whether people are actually interested in receiving this information as well. So that way, it motivates us even more to like really dig in to all of this kind of information, all this kind of stuff. And I've seen a few women's football matches, and they're actually really good. I mean, again, I know for a fact that if I was on the pitch with any of these athletes, I'm not even going to be up to scruff. And not that I haven't, like, I used to play quite a bit, and I'm not in the worst kind of shape, but they're still amazing athletes. And at least there is one country that knows at this point in time the value of them as athletes, and the value of giving them the equal importance that needs to be done as well. So this news has been going all over the internet for the last couple of weeks maybe, about Fairland. So yeah, tell
Seems
me about
fair,
that.
right? Seems fair.
Yeah, it's amazing. It kind of falls into the name. So the FAI, the Football Association of Ireland, recently passed across the board equal pay for the national men's and women's team, which was some absolutely incredible news. Uh, I mean, so the way it worked was, the women's team has been having issues for a while. In 2017, they were almost going to go on a strike because of how poorly their situations were, and the board heard them, the association heard them, and they sat them down, and discussions have been kind of ongoing, and they've been making slow progress since 2017. So it's not like they've been talking for 4 years and now they made this decision. They've slowly been adding more, making more changes, giving them more importance, giving them more amenities to make sure that they're able to perform at the highest level. Because there was a point at one point in one of the reasons why they went on strike was because they said that between matches, when they were traveling to other locations, they had to literally change in public restrooms, which is a situation which, for any individual representing their country, that's just a horrible situation to be in. Like, why would they be in that situation? So they were really justified in their want for some sort of parity. But yeah, 2021, both the men's and women's teams captains were involved in making the decision. Seamus Coleman, the Ireland men's captain, and Katie McCabe, the women's captain, were, they all got together along with the association. And
Katie also plays for Arsenal, by the way.
see, also, there we go. I mean, Arsenal is just amazing. Arsenal fans, just follow women's football, please. But yeah, and they finally came to the agreement to grant equal pay to the men's and the women's team. And the men's team took a wage decrease so that the women's wage could be increased, so that they would kind of meet in the middle and actually match that sort of structure. Karthik, I've spoken a lot. Please take the rest of it away.
I think it makes sense, but in a way, I'm a little disappointed. Wherein, you want to like show that okay, somebody's compromised for someone else. Whereas, I mean, you have to figure out ways where you can support women's football without having to like dive into the men's football revenue pool or whatever you want to call that. And I mean, I understand that it's pure business. Revenues are different, quite lower when it comes to women's football versus men's. But obviously, as an association, as a national team, you can possibly pump in funds without having to like play around with sentiments. Because again, this is always going to spark a debate whether is doing that the right way to do it. We always have had issues with, I mean, topics like these wherein wages going up, going down is a big issue. But from the current perspective, the good thing is, yeah,
Sorry about that.
No problem. For the current perspective, it's good that at least they get equal pay and they have basic amenities, basic services, improved services, and they don't really have to go through the turmoil that they went through earlier. Um, and kudos to FA Ireland. I hope that sets a precedent for other clubs, other countries to follow suit and to like bring more of the talk into actual walk. I mean, people always talk. You have all of these. Okay, we stand for no racism in football. There's no room for uh, discrimination and things like that. I think so much of that is so much talk, but there's no walk in there. I don't want this thing also to be seen as a gesture or just a virtue signaling activity wherein, oh, they've done it, we may do it, but we'll talk about it. What's the point, right? So
And
I hope it actually changes the direction and not just be some small media clipping out
and
there.
and you made an excellent point where it's apparently it's not a very difficult issue. You just need to have all the parties involved sit down, because there is a growing sentiment on women's rights. It's not new. It's been going on for decades now. So one of the most popular, in fact, the most popular sport in the world should not have to take a backseat. They should be leading the line. So, and I would be surprised that other countries, like other members of their national teams, other women involved in the administration of national teams are not keen to kind of explore these sort of issues, because we were going to come back to this. Like in the US, for example, the women's team had to sue the national team in the Supreme Court to try and make I believe it is the Supreme Court, to try and fight for their equal pay rights. Now the claim was turned down, and in all fairness, I have gone through the transcripts of the motion and stuff, and there were merits to why that request was turned down, which I would implore anyone watching this video to try and dig into them themselves. If you'd like us to discuss it, I would be more than happy to sit down and actually discuss why it was turned down. And there were reasons why it was turned down. The problem is, why do they have to go through a legal system to even get to that point? Why is why is the association, why is the organization not able to reach down to them? And why are the men's national team players or people in power not able to understand that this is a clear issue? Let us sit down and sort this out. And like you said, kudos to Ireland for setting a precedent, and hopefully it's just it's like a domino. It only takes one to start the whole chain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And any last thoughts on our touching base on women's
Yeah,
football?
so one more hot news. Arsenal captain Kim Little is a Scottish national team player and she just stepped down from the national team.
Oh,
She is their most capped player, 140 caps for her country. She's even represented Great Britain in two Olympics. I mean, kudos to her. 140 caps for your national team is like
that's amazing.
a huge feat,
Yeah.
and to like go out on a high like that, I think it definitely deserves a huge mention.
Definitely. I mean, thank you. I did not know that. That is news to me as well. But yeah, I'm so glad we discussed this topic. And anybody watching this, if you like what we said, please hit the like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Please let us know more than anything else whether you'd like for us to touch on these topics more. I know personally I'm going to look way more into women's football than I did before. But yeah, see you guys till our next videos. We already, by the way, do have a video coming out comparing which move was better, Messi or Ronaldo. And we also had another move coming out basically discussing deadline day transfers, just the deadline day transfers. So please go ahead and check those out as well. And as Karthik always likes to remind me, follow our Instagram page. Okay,
So
take care
yeah.
and yeah, see you guys. Have a great day.